Hello and welcome to DLDX1 for August 22nd, 2014. I'm Derek Lynch. DLDX netcasts are devoted to international broadcasting and communication. As you may know if you've come across me online, I've been tweeting and running a DLDX blog for quite some time now with items on international broadcasting and DXing. But I find writing these up quite time consuming and I don't always meet my schedule. So I've decided I might experiment with some audio and perhaps even video later on. Audio will be very helpful, of course, in presenting details of recorded items, radio signals I picked up over the years. I'm probing a scheduled series of netcasts, I'll call them for the moment. Netcasts could be podcasts, it could be video, it could be podcasts using podcasting software. I'm not quite sure how to do it in practice. I'm experimenting for now. I hope you find these of interest and give me some feedback and let me know which way I should go. But this is the first of many of these, and I hope to make them more regular and more systematic in the future. My topic on today's netcast is Burma. Now, Burma is an exotic country, a country we consider distant, not so much in terms of miles, but also in terms of its isolation from the rest of the world. It's isolated in part by its geography, by the mountains that surround its river valleys, but also by the exotic nature of its culture and history. It's also exotic from a radio point of view. Most Burmese radio signals are low power. The Burmese state radio uses 100 kilowatt transmitters on shortwave, but most of the time it operates these at around 50 kilowatts or even 20 kilowatts. There have been many wars in Burma around the fringes of the country, especially between the central government and ethnic groups like the Karens and the Shans. Many DXers in Europe have reported reception of Burmese stations, but I have had great difficulty over the past few years. I know that on 5985 kHz, for example, Burma sometimes broadcasts from Rangoon and sometimes from its new capital at Napydidaw, and more on Napydidaw in a moment. But I've had only difficulty picking up these. During the winter months, for example, we regularly hear trace audio and perhaps some Asian music or Asian language, but usually it's underneath a Russian transmitter, or even if it's in the clear, it doesn't come in very well. But now I've struck gold. In the past few days I've had some good luck. On August 20th, 2014, at 23 hours UTC, on 5985 kHz, exactly, a spot-on frequency, I heard a broadcast that I can confirm to be from Burma. This broadcast involved a tuning signal and then some talk with a female announcer, but there was no positive ID in that talk. And then came a national anthem, and I was able to confirm with YouTube search that this was indeed the national anthem of Burma. Now, I know this signal is noisy and weak and difficult, but you must remember it's 25 kilowatts, and it's in a difficult part of the radio spectrum as well. In the remaining 45 minutes or so, when the signal was strong, I was able to hear some xylophone music, typical of the percussion instruments you hear in other Southeast Asian countries. I also heard what sounded like physical exercises, exercise training, like what you'd hear in morning broadcasts, for example, from China. The signal had faded down by 23:45 UTC, but I do know that its schedule goes on to 0030. 5 at the Napydidaw transmitter site. Now all of this has got me to think and again read more about Burmese history, politics and culture. And the country is a mass of contradictions. Those radio signals are very, very difficult to hear. They're weak and the transmitters are primitive. But at the same time, Burmese television, MRTV, has quite a sophisticated international service with satellite and online provision and also broadcasting in English. And they sometimes employ foreigners or certainly very good English speakers to front those broadcasts. I wouldn't call the content of the television programming very sophisticated, but in terms of production values and technical issues, it certainly is, and contrasts radically with those radio programs and the difficulty we have receiving them here in Europe. Well, I'll have more regularly scheduled items in this segment in future weeks, and I'll set up a proper schedule as well. For the moment, I'm going to continue tweeting on Thursday nights at 22 hours UTC on Twitter. Derek F. Lynch is my handle there. And I will set up a proper schedule for these netcasts with opportunities for your feedback. And I'd like to take contributions from you as well, not just ones coming from me. But I have lots of material here, both current DXing information, but also lots of archival material. I have recordings of international radio going back to the 1970s, and so plenty of material to play with. And I hope that you find it all of some interest or value. If you're a radio hobbyist, you will know what I mean when I say, until next time, 73s and good DX.